America is Jacob and Esau. America is a mixture of people. It's a Babylon, like Australia. By the way, the same applies to Australia. You think it's Babylon over here, come over to Australia. Same stuff's going on. Same stuff's going on in New Zealand. So Babylon is everywhere, but it's especially where the lost tribes are. Satan is closing down the hatches because he's expecting a storm coming. He thinks he can ride it. And he may well do for a time and a season. America's founders were Puritans and Freemasons. There's Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, Bible believers and pagans. It's a mixture. And so is Australia. Wherever Jacob is, there's his brother. See the principle? Okay. Jacob and Esau. And it's been blessed abundantly. This, you could say this is the land of Isaac, because Jacob and Esau came from Isaac. But remember, when Israel wanted to return to the promised land, Esau withstood him with his men. When Jacob came into the land personally, there was 400 men with Esau. But when Israel came out of Egypt, Esau also withstood. And who attacked them? Esau's grandson, called Amalek, the Amalekites, related to the fiery serpents, the Nazis. So, if lost Israel is awakening, so is Israel, and so is Esau. So is the New World. I equate Esau more with the New World Order. They go, oh, we're going to stop you, and in some way hasten it at the same time. In any case, this is in Egypt. It's a green Goshen, just like in the first Exodus. And we've got a new Pharaoh in town. It's going to be time to leave. And this nation is going to be divided. A nation that divided amongst itself cannot stand. It's not meant to. Because God is going to bring what's best here to the promised land. By the way, regarding physical Esau, not all of Esau is bad. There are Edomites that actually feared the Lord. Caleb was from Esau. He was from Hezron in one genealogy, and he's a Kenizzite in another. Can't be from Kenaz and from Hezron. Hezron's from Judah. So how can he be from Kenaz and Hezron? Easy. He was a Kenizzite according to the flesh. He joined the house of Judah for Hezron, and he had another spirit in him. It says that. So he's physically from Esau, but spiritually from the Israel above. Not all of Israel is Israel, and not all of those that are amongst the nations are not from Israel, spiritually speaking. There's all this stuff going on as well. In any case, Esau must be close to Jacob in order to serve him. Remember the promises in Genesis? That Esau would serve his brother? Well, those haven't gone away. So it's all been happening under our nose. We just don't know who's who. Both dwell in and of the fat of the land, the oil and the dew of heaven. So Esau is as much an oil man as Jacob is. But wherever you got Texas tea, you got Jacob and Esau. So there's all of this stuff going on. So if Jacob has been spread and scattered, in order to fulfill the promises in Genesis, Esau must be scattered amongst them. So that's what's going on here and in Australia. So unfortunately, Esau's kingdom is coming to an end. The New World Order have to destroy America because God's already said it in heaven. He's had enough. The kingdom's going to move from Esau to Jacob. It's going to move. Remember the two twins in the womb of Rebekah? They were fighting it out for who's going to have dominion. It says the kingdom shall go from one to the other. Two regimes irreconcilable are in your womb. One's the man of the flesh, the other one's the man of God's Spirit. So the shop's going to be closed down. There's nothing we can do about it. Jacob's returning home, and also a remnant of Esau is returning home too, because there's some of them that are good guys. So this is not just about blood. It's about, I can't choose who my father is. I can only choose what I do. I can only choose to listen to God, no matter where I'm from. Okay? But all of this stuff that's in Genesis about Jacob and Esau, it's all being fulfilled right under our nose. So there we have the blessing of Jacob in Genesis 27:28. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. And over here, Genesis 27 to Esau, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be in the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. Very similar. They're in similar locations. They're right next door to each other. Where you got Jacob, you got Esau. But the kingdom is moving away from Esau's. The rabbis say Rome is Esau. Well, Rome is very much in America. You go down to Wall Street, you go to Babylon and Rome, it's all part of the image of Nebuchadnezzar. So Rome and Babylon are ruling here. And Esau is more related to that. Jacob's more related to the stone that comes down from heaven, the Messiah and the people of Israel. What's made this nation great is the gospel and the seed of the house of Israel within America. And Esau's been there as well, and he's been blessed too. But it's coming to an end. Esau strives for dominion over Jacob. That all-seeing eye on the pyramid, on the $1 bill, the New World Order, they want to have dominion over Jacob. It says that you will throw off the yoke. That's what Isaac said to Esau. Yeshua says, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I'm meek and humble. As America and Australia and New Zealand throw off the yoke, it's Esau throwing off the yoke. The yoke of Torah and the yoke of Yeshua. And so what happens? Yes, he does throw off the yoke, but then what happens? The curse of God comes upon him for hating Jacob. God actually comes against Esau with blood and fire, not for what he does, but for what the attitude in his heart. Just for hating Jacob, he comes against him. So the fact that the bad guys have got it in for Yeshua, for the church of the firstborn, for Israel, means judgment upon them. But it also means judgment upon us too. Because Esau and the bad guys are going to do what they're going to do. And God's going to be with them, and then he's going to kill them. There's no way to avoid that. There's going to be stuff. So America is a land of Esau and Jacob, and so is Australia and New Zealand. These promises in Genesis are being fulfilled throughout the church period. If Jacob was in Europe, Esau was in Europe. If Jacob comes out, Esau comes out. And there's a remnant of Esau that are blessed and loved of God too. They might be Esau according to the flesh, but like Caleb, they have another spirit in them. So it's one of the commandments in the Torah is to love the Edomite, descendants of Esau. And that's not a hard thing to do, because Esau's my brother. If he is born of God, he's my brother. Genesis 25 verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, that's Esau, the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Jacob starts off smooth-skinned. He's the mummy's boy. Esau's the hairy hunter. He's in the Arkansas woods, killing deer. And now that's just like that. I'm not judging all people that kill deer. I'm saying that's what it's like, and that's what's going on. Jacob starts off as a smooth man, dwelling in tents. He's a mummy's boy. He's the seed of the woman. Eventually he turns into the man's man. It takes time. Esau's a man, he's born hairy already. He's already made. He's got it made. He's a man of the world. He's already got it made. But he doesn't have a heart for the things of God. He's got everything. He's a hunter. He's a football player. He's everything. He's out there killing Muslims before you can say Jack Robinson. He's got it all. He's the first man to land on the moon. The eagle has landed. He's doing it all. He just doesn't have a heart for the things of God. That's his only fault. And Jacob, he's just the mummy's boy. He's the nerd. He's just... But he kind of wants those things of God. God can do something with us if we desire the things of God.
Amen.
God made a covenant with Israel, the seed of the woman. Jacob, Genesis 27 verse 29. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. That's for the Jews, but it's also for the house of Israel. So Barack Obama, in coming against us, is cursed. But he's going to do his evil, just like Pharaoh did in Egypt. The curse will stick to us if we're breaking covenant. And then God will still deal with them. Every dog has its day. They'll get sorted out. So what's going on here is going on now. When we're reading Torah, it's for now. When we're reading about the Amalekites attacking, it's for now. Because the same bad guys haven't gone away, and as Israel comes together, so do the bad guys. We need to learn what God's saying in the Scriptures because it's for now. There's hope. I want to learn the rules of American football because I want to plant that ball between the enemy's goalposts. And I can't do that without learning the rules of the game. I've got to learn how to get that guy and plough him into the earth. And then run to the other side and make touchdown. You know? And there's all glory. And the Torah, the Bible, is God's book of winning the game. Verse 40. Regarding Esau, by thy sword shalt thou live. So he's a military man. And shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, your new world order, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. The yoke of Torah and the yoke of Yeshua. That's exactly what's going on here in America. America is being undermined by the spirit of Esau. And by the descendants of Esau in many cases. He is gaining the dominion over Jacob because Jacob has dropped the ball.
Yes.
Okay, this is a game in play. The bad guys have got the ball. And we can't even get it together as a team. How can I win a perfectly organised team against a team unless we're organised as a team? It's not going to happen. There's a game about to commence. And we've got to, we are in dire straits. Please God, that which you have begun, please move by your Spirit in a far greater way because we are in peril. Your house is in peril. And God says they're not listening to me. The men are stubborn. And they use the Torah as a weapon to hurt one another. And they have no love. They're unkind. And they've forgotten the first things. The King of the universe is a lamb. When Yeshua returns, they're saying, save us from the lamb. It's like saying, save us from Little Bo Peep. We have to, if we want to be lions, we have to learn to be lambs. If you're going to go over the trench with your bayonet on your musket, you've got to be prepared to die like a lamb. You want to be a lion, you've got to be a lamb. You've got to be ready for slaughter. You've got to be ready to offer up your life. No greater love has any man than this, that he laid down his life for his friends. So we've got to learn to be lambs. Then being a lion is easy. You just go, "Arr." That's easy. Being a lamb is hard work because it's self-sacrifice.